Tom, what have we got here?
A lot of old stuff from the troubled times. There was a bunker on the farm here that I got from my uncle, and this stuff was kept by my uncle and found in the bunker over the years. Yeah. So.
Anything in particular?
We have the shell there, the 1916 shell there, and the two of them there, and we have the old teapot that they probably boiled the tea or whatever on as well, and an old baton. That baton would be used in top of the 303 rifle. It's fitted in and it's seized up now. There's a button and it's slotted in the 303. It was, if you ran ambush, that's what that was for. We found that, there's that. And the old pick, it's a trench pick. I shouldn't have painted it up, I should have left it the way it was, but that was, we found that and we tied it up. It was there for years and years. The handle was rotted in it as well. A few other pieces then were left. My uncle had the carbon light that was on the bicycle. One time, the time of the troubles, there were the carbon lights. And another baton there again, as you can see, it's in better condition. And the slot in, again, it's broken, the top of it. And they were the next baton then for the rifles as well, and that's the cover for that. They were different upgrade. And one particular interesting piece here was one of the guns. The time of the troubles, we cleaned it up as much as we could. It was in bad condition with clay and rust and all. We found that it must be something the same as the one the Collins used and all on his side, you know. And that was the dugout. And all the old ammunition, the 303s, you see, they have the goldy top on them, which now it's different, it's changed. They're the original 303 with the rack in them. Keys and all were left kind of to my uncle, I suppose, to for houses he had. Old keys and oil bottles and the cutthroat razor they shaved themselves for. That was, he kept that. There was that, yeah. And an old pair of goggles that was kept from the time of the troubles as well.
And where did you get, say, the goggles from, for example?
The goggles were kept, my uncle kept them here in the attic. They were kept there with a box that was, we found out was for mechanisms for a Vickers machine gun that was used in the bunker at the time of the troubles. And they kept mechanisms in it. And he had that. He kept stuff he was left, I suppose, when they tidied up the bunker when trouble finished. He kept a amount of stuff, you know, and there's probably stuff still around that we don't know that was better than we'd find, you know. And you have the small bullets there as well for the Lucas and that stuff. And then all these medals and all are my uncles, my fathers, so the troubled times. All the old medals down the original box and the whole time handed down to him.
What was your uncle's name?
William O'Donnell.
And your father's name?
Tom O'Donnell. They were all reared here. There was 13 of them in the family, their brothers and sisters. And they fed the people the time of the troubles. There'd be food left in different pints, the ditches for them, because they were hiding for 6 months down in the bunker there. So there were different pints that to be set out that they'd lay food for them in the night time. They were kept by all the people around the locality, you know.
And those medals belong to your uncle and your father?
Yeah, the uncles, yeah. Open them now.
And they were left to you since?
Yeah. Stuff. The prayer book and all that was kept with him. Look, the whole prayer book that my grandmother's.
And Tom, the bunker, which we'll go see later on, is in a couple of fields away. Is that right?
Yeah, down the back of the fields, down to the stream. Yeah.
So when did you find all these bits and pieces, like the shells and stuff?
Well, I found these in the recent years myself. You know, I took an interest when I was young. I didn't take the interest, but then I said, we joined the rep scheme, and the rep scheme found out we had something historic on our farm. So then getting curious, I went kind of searching and digging and maintaining it, tidied up. And as times went along, we found the bits and pieces on where the bunker was. Found these down by the edge of the bunker where we were digging, just at the edge of the bunker there. And found a few of the old 303 ones as well on the ground there. And these were the main ones at the teapot and the baton and the pick and the bottle. They were all, we found them as we were tidying up down there.
And were they far down, Tom, were they?
They were kind of dangerous. It fell in over the years, and as we were tidying up along in the tunnel of it, we found them at the edge of the tunnel, and there was the kind of the floor of the place they were sleeping. There were probably, I think years ago, there was timber floor in it to keep the dampness, and I think it rotted away, so they were probably left, you know, they rotted away into the ground there over the years.
And what else do we have on the table here? What are bits and pieces?
Oh, the bits and pieces now. We have the cutthroat razor. We have a real old, found it there. We didn't really know what it was, and we found out after it was an old penknife, and what was used for was cleaning the hoofs of the horses if a stone went into the hoof. This is what this was used for. I had never seen one before. We found it.
And where did you find that down in the bunker as well?
That was down in the bunker. That one, yeah.
Can you tell me the story about the money?
The money was an old picture of Michael Collins, a big picture in a wooden frame that was always in the house, in my mother's house across the stream, because they were big fans of Michael Collins, because Michael Collins slept there 3 times when he visited the bunker to the boys or hiding. And the money was donated to my grandmother over the years from the Collins Foundation, and she kept it in the back of the picture. She never spent it, and she kept it in the back of the picture, but they kept it updated. But my uncle decided there before he died a couple of years ago that he'd send up the photo up to the Dáil to hang it in the Dáil. So we organised lads to come and TD and all to take it, and he said, we come down the night before, he said, before it goes, he said, I used to always wonder when I in there for tea, he'd be looking up at the thing, he said, that's worth a lot of money, that picture. And I used to be just wondering how he was always on it, which was worth a lot of money. But when I went down, he had it out on the table, and he had the pliers and a screwdriver, and he opened it up. And lo and behold, there was the money that was kept from his mother's time from the Collins Foundation. And he gave it to me, he said, you keep that now and look after it. And also there was a little shoe belonging to his mother's time inside in the back of it as well. And it came in, that little box was in it, and did all the photographs of all the, she cut them out, all the little pictures of all the people fought in the troubled times. There's a load of them there now, see them all there.
That box wasn't at the back of the picture frame, was it?
That box was at the back of the picture frame, yeah, with the money, yeah.
And the money now, did the money get changed, or was that the original money?
No, the money got changed. The uncle said they actually changed it up. Now some of it might be, but they changed it up to, there's 400 pounds of the red tenors there. There's a lot. You could still, it's still as good as the first day. The quality, like, and the nice smell, the proper money smell. If we had that now, we'd be better off what we have, wouldn't we? They were value for money. Imagine you could you'd probably go to a pub for a week in that one time.
So you remember looking at that picture frame and your uncle saying to you...
He used to always, then he'd sitting at the table looking up when we were having the tea. He was saying, that's worth a lot of money, that picture, and he'd be smiling, yeah. And that's what it ended up. Then he sent it up to the Dáil to hang it in the Dáil. Yeah, and he cleaned out the back of it. And he was excited, you know, that it was kept over the years. And I have the letters there that she got my grandmother all from the Collins Foundation and all.
And were you there the day he opened up the box and took at the back of the picture?
Oh yeah, he invited me down that night because the lads were coming the day after to take away the photograph. And he said, be sure be down that night. And he had it on the table turned upside down with the pliers and the screwdriver waiting for me to open it up, yeah. I couldn't believe my eyes when I see the money and all. He told me the story. You know, but
and he since passed away?
He's passed away, yeah.
And you haven't shown this or told anyone too much about this, have you?
No. It was there for years. We kept it, and then the last couple of years we got interested in tidying up the bunker and all when we got the grant for it, and then people were coming to see it, and we said we'd get it going and get insurance so people to come in and view it. It's a shame to have it hidden, you know. Like there's another one around the area, like, you know, so we said why not, like, open it up and it's there for the people to view it and come and see it. With an awful lot of people who come, walkers and tourists come to see it. And yeah, when I was a young lad, the people belonged to Tipperary, 2 women and a man came down to see it. I was very young at the time. I regret it now because if that time you had a camera and take photos and history, a bit of writing, but they knew about it and where he hid himself from the troops, and they came to see it. And then after that I had a great man in the reason. He came, he was involved in the troubled times, and he came to see it, and he knew all about it and what went on there, and where they stayed and how long. And these were all found in the bunker, yeah. We were digging and picking, they were all much as we could find. We found now a lot of ones were used and shot, or God only knows, we don't know who they shot, but we found them, but they were empty, but they were rotted. You know, when you catch them, they'd break up, the 3 or 3s, and there were a lot of empties there, but they were rotted because once they were opened, the dampness and the wet got into them. The clay was just the few live ones we got, and all, we cleaned them up like there, but they're all them. They're kind of dirty shape, but they're all right.
And the Luger was found in the bunker?
The Luger was found in the bunker, yeah, down on the floor where they slept. That's what that was now. It was in bad condition. It was all bedded in clay and all. We cleaned it all out, tidied it up as much as we could now. Just see the timber was starting to rot in it as well. So.
And the shells that were beside you, there's one of them has got a mark on it. Can you tell me the story why it has a mark?
Oh, this one, yeah. When I digging with the digger just outside the bunker, I make a little pathway for people to stand to get into what was. That's what people call, and I just hit it with the corner of the bucket of the digger. And my God, I got an awful fright when it popped out. I said to myself, I came into the wife and I said, by God, you will look at when the late Tom O'Donnell was on the paper. I said, what if I hit below? So she was shocked, but that's it there now, and you can see the weight and the size of that was the big one, and you can see there in the back of it, see the 1916 in the back of it.
And you were saying there were a load of them?
There was a load of them and guns and all cleaned up and tidied up from the bunker at the time of the Troubles, and they were buried up the road in the bank of a stream up there, and they stayed there for years and years. Up to about 20 years ago, the water washed in underneath them, and they got washed down the stream and out in the open, and the people who were living there, they rang the army and they blew them all up there. The field there, blocked off the road and put sandbags over them and blew them up.
But you were saying as well that the actual gun itself was buried.
Well, when I was young, the story from the old people, my uncles and all, that it was better than a turf bog somehow. It was the big gun for those. And there were also a Vickers machine gun that was in the bunker at the time of the Troubles that is buried somehow as well. The Vickers machine gun was belt fed, and she revolved like she was sitting there for ambush the whole time with 2 guys on it every day, you know. And that's somehow, so there could be a lot of stuff around the locality that we don't know, you know, buried in different places, and I suppose a lot of it was taken away, you know.
And you were saying that shell or that gun that fired those shells were used to fire on a house down the road here, was it?
Perry's place was blown up, yes, and burned at the time of the troubles there. That's the time they blew up the Perry's house, the great road.
And were they using those shells for that?
Oh, they were the shells for that job, yeah. Yeah.
You've got a great display, Tom, I have to say.
Yeah, but it's there over the years, and Dunkel kept it, and then when we went digging and sure, God only knows we'll probably find more, maybe, hopefully, but it was kept, and I looked after it, like, and I'd a lot of history in from my grandmother's side and my uncle's side as well, and letters from the Collins Foundation, and thanking them, and you know, even when Collins was shot, my grandmother and the father was brought up to the funeral. They sent down a free car for him and brought him up and fed him for the day and dropped him home again, thanking for all the work they done for him, you know. They looked after him. That's right.
We might have a look at those letters, will we?
You got, yeah, we will, yeah. The book is all stuff that we held and that my grandmother and my uncle got from De Valera's, writing letters from De Valera for thanking them and funding, and that was a part of the RIP scheme there that when we were involved we got the money to maintain the bunker. And as you go along you can see we've all the letters there that was wrote to my grandmother there, the time for thanking her and helping them all out at the time of the tough times, the trouble. And to go on, and a great letter there from, again, I posted to her all the history, and they all knew her so well. They were sending her money and donations, like I told you about the money a while ago. There was money they were sending to her. And another great letter there about Liam Lynch again. And
you kept all these up?
We kept them all up, yeah, and then my uncle had more of them kept there from his mother's time. Again, and they were all kept, all the history back along. And as you see it more and again, they don't ever stop, like. And this is the famous photograph I was telling you about, that the money was in the back of it. There was a thick frame in the back of it. And this is how the money was in the back of it, all the money that she was donating and handed down to, she kept in the back of the picture that my uncle was telling me that it was always up the watch and looking up, laughing at it, the tea. And the photograph here then is all the lads that dug the foundation for Liam Lynch's monument at the time it was being built. You can see they drinking out enamel cups there and out. And I got that great photo from a great man came down. He was to come back with more history, but the poor man passed away. He was in his 80s. In the O'Riordan, he came to see the dugout, and he knew all about the troubled times down there and all the tough times. And he was to come back with more stuff to me, but the poor man, he passed away. And this is just marking the areas. And here again, there's another photograph there of my uncle again. When he handed over a photograph again, and that's the Collins car, the one he was ambushed at the time.
And what year was that photograph taken?
This one.
This one here.
This one here. That's going back now. It's 12 years ago now. Yes, that was taken. There's more history of the reps, the grant from the reps to keep the bunker restored and maintained. And there were a lovely photograph here. This is from the young. This is before the mountain was planted. This is when you had the mass once a year for Liam Lynch, and that went on once a year. You'd have all the people, 300 and 400 people gathering. And that was the photo was on the nationalist paper of my uncle. It was taken for the paper of he handing over the photograph there, the doll. Now there's very nice photographs. This is on the pipe band coming up. They had to walk up across the hill. That time there was no road, there was only just a path. And they came up across the hill for the mass once a year. I remember when I was a young fella back there, I was very young, only 6 or 7, and the mass was on, and the young lads were playing around. That time there were big rocks or stones, like you could go in under and playing, and 3 or 4 young lads were in there playing. One of them came out and he pulled out, he found a real old 303s at the time of the Troubles, and he ran down across the hill. They were all shouting, and oh my God, there were wicked excitement. The old people caught it off him and took it away. So it made a wicked scene on the day, and I can still picture it to the time that it happened now. I don't know where it ended up after, so taken in. I was at a museum or barracks or what they done with it, but it was the original 303 with the batement in it. The young fellas found it under a rock. And
up here at the Liam Lynch.
Up at the Liam Lynch, yeah. One of the days the mess was on, yeah. I was young, I was only 6 or 7 at the time. We used to all walk that time. It was a big thing, everyone walking back to the mass that time. You can see me there as a little fella, my sister there. Yeah, I was young.
And you would have been around that age when this rifle was
yeah, yeah, that's the time, yeah. And this is a map here, just marking it, all the red spots there, the monument and the shooting lodges and the dugout. All the areas, they were all kind of together in a group there. So just in that locality around here. And that's my mother's place again, where Colin slept. That was the old thrashing that ever finished up in my mother's place across the valley. And they finished the thrashing there, and they drank all night barrels of porter, and they were going to another place down the road in Welsh's the day after, and they were so bad that the night before the wheel fell out of the thrasher, and they had to cancel it going down the back road. They were all had a hangover, I suppose, the night before, and that was the last thrashing in Donegal, my mother's place. Yeah, the photograph of it. And as you can see now, these are the old letters again from Dan Breen and to my grandmother, again for helping her and looking for if she wanted help and fundings and pensions and stuff. The way they were all, we kept all, they're all the original letters.
What was your grandmother's name?
Margaret, yeah, Welsh. And they're all there again.
So Dan wrote to your grandmother?
Yeah, for pensions for her husband and funding, like she was, giving her, helping her along. And they kept in contact the whole time, because it was Colin's stayed there 3 times, it was a hired house, and he used to come across and visit the bunker, the boys won the bunker, and they always kept in contact and thanking one another the whole time. And any help she wanted, I suppose she got it,
And was your grandfather dead by this stage?
No, he wasn't. No, he was still alive. He lost his sight in later years in life, for a good few years before he died. And
you know that the wad of money that was sent down to was that sent down to your grandfather or your grandmother?
Your grandmother and grandfather, yeah, that was donations, yeah, for thanking them and helping them along the line, yeah. And then she always kept joining the donations for all Liam Lynch and Collins and all. She paid into them funds as well and helped them along as well. She contacted all that,
So there's letters from Dan Breen.
Yeah.
And that's the woman herself, is it?
That's the woman herself, yeah.
Margaret.
Yeah.
Margaret Welsh.
Yeah.
Isn't it fantastic? You kept them up.
We kept them all, yeah. They were kept there in the box in the attic and all, and you can see that's her house where she was married, and that's the house now where Michael Collins slept. You can see it here. That was her house. That's still over on the hill here. Then they moved out of there, then they built a bungalow further down the road in later years, herself and the son. And they lived there then till she passed away, and son and all.
And that house is still there, Tom?
That house is still there, yeah. Yeah. There was a special kind of a loft up over the parlour. You wouldn't see it. There was a little lat door. That's where Colin slept 3 times while he visited there, Yeah. That's another one at the monument there again. Some of the neighbours, some are alive now, some passed away. The photograph, one day they were back there. And that's my grandmother when she was young, and my mother and her mother again. That's the mass rock. Then there's a mass there once a year. It's just across from my mother's place in the hill there. There's a mass rock that mass takes place there once a year. The crowd comes there every year, and that's the monument, the original. They were the bronze dogs, the original bronze dogs, but they were stolen afterwards. The different ones are there now. The real ones were robbed that are there.
That's the monument to Liam Lynch.
Yeah, that's the monument to Liam Lynch. The day Liam Lynch was shot, it was only across the road. Like he was running back here to the bunker, but he didn't get that far before they were all running back, because they were being ambushed down in the valley down below, and he was running back. But if he was gone a little further, he'd be saved. But he didn't make it, you know. So they all came back here then, and they left here 2 days after they signed the treaty. They went back to Fermoy to sign the treaty. And they went out over the hills there for Ballysaggart. There's some house out in Ballysaggart that they lived in here. They went in and they were all fed there with tea and stuff before they went on to Fermoy. And then the Nire Valley, they signed the treaty. They were out there for the treaty a couple of days after as well. But there was a house there, but in there any longer. It was not like that was the house the treaty was signed, and out there in the Nire Valley. And it's not there any longer.
Who did the house belong to?
It was I can't think who the old people that time had it. Was it sold on the farm after? You know?
So the treaty was signed a couple of days after Liam was shot?
Yeah, and they all hid it out of here. They all hid it on out over the hill here on for Ballysaggart there, onto Fermoy. Treaty back in Fermoy there. The man himself there too. It's grand to keep the stuff, you know, to keep it all in order, like, you know. That was his little help at the time. Little Jumfrey went off with him. He helped him. He was a little child, and he was an orphan or something. He took him over, and he was helping him at the time.
And where did you get all these cutouts, Tom?
Of
the ones of, say, the one there, Michael Collins.
Dim.
Yeah,
we got all dim. They were all handed. It was an old kind of a paper was left in the attic. I mean, grandmother's, the uncle had it. It was an old paper at the time, and he'd have kept. It was in a box, and he had a lot of stuff in the house. There were probably more stuff there, but no, we didn't realise. Probably got destroyed and all too, and with bits of other stuff, letters to go through as well. In boxes, you don't know what you'd find. Letters were sent to me, you know, over the years, and so there could be stuff anyway, you know. So we got as much as we could anyway, and we're trying to keep the thing alive, you know, keep it going. All the history of them after what they fought for and all, they had a tough time, you know. So.
And what are they? Those pages there?
Yeah, they were all little receipts again. Grandmother. And the book. Like, it's nice to see that, to get where would you get a letter like that now with the old handwriting and all. It's nice to have, you know, isn't it? I just like, if you read through them, they're very interesting letters to read through, you know. But if I could go back to that time, I'd have a lot more history. With no cameras right at that time, you see. So only photos was taken. But if we were up to date, like we're now with the cameras now, we'd have a lot of history.
And what drives you? Why are you interested in keeping these books and these objects?
Because of the bunker, and to maintain the bunker, and just they fought and hid there, you know, and memories of them all, you know, to keep it alive and keep it going, you know. Like, it's sad, like the places like filled in, and they were excavated with bulldozers and all and closed up. It was a pity, like the history is gone, like you destroyed the history, you know. And like that's the only one around, and I got people were amazed when they came to visit it, you know, even students like were wicked interested, you know, for history and all, and they sat down below there with a book and wrote down all the history with it and looking at it for their projects in school, you know. And
Are your own children interested in it?
yeah, oh God, yeah. That meant for us to keep it going, keep it restored and done up again, yeah. So, well, our plans is to put it back original again, you know, the way it was, and keep it right and get insurance and get people to come and see and visit the history of it and all, you know.
And you were telling me, when you were only a chap, you'd be in the company of your father and the men talking about what happened.
Yeah.
And your ear would be cocked.
Yeah, you'll be cocked. Sometimes you get a little tap in the ear, you're listening too much there, you know. You get a squeeze in the ear. But no, there were stories around the fireplace, you know, and about what went on, and they'd be telling about the digging of it, and the people went out and the way they were fed, and like there was an old house up the road there, and the back of the house there was a kind of a big high wall all around it, maybe 2 foot wide, and the back windows were, you were looking out into the wall. But that time they were saying that a lot of people were fed out the back window, but you know, that time, the time of the troubles, the food was, they were hidden, they couldn't be seen because they went to go around the house undercover with the high bank, and this wall was built in stone, and they were fed out the back window, but you know. And there'd be all the stories, yeah, about the digging and the way they dug it, like, and they were saying that the digging, it was like there'd be 40 or 50 men with the old meal bags that time, and they'd dig with picks and shovels, you know, the night time. It was all hidden, it was night time digging. And they'd fill up the meal bags, and where it is on the bank of the Glyn, there was probably 100 feet of a fall down. They'd live off the bags, roll down into the stream, and the lads were opening them, shake them into the water that it would be seen, and a bunch of lads bringing up the empties again. That was all in the digging of it that time, and it was covered off in, it was timbered on the sides, and it was timbered on the top, and they cut the old rushes for thatch, for insulation for it, and then they put old galvanized on it and clay. You wouldn't know they were there. Actually, the crowd that were looking for them actually walked down over them, didn't even know they were there at the time of the troubles. Yeah.
Will we go up and have a look at it?
We will, God, we will. No, you're welcome, yeah. We'll have a look at it, yeah. You'll be thrilled to see it now. See the locality and where it is. You'll be amazed that you'll be saying there's no wonder they hid down here when you'll see it. So, yeah.